Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So a new lawsuit was filed on March 22nd, naming Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell as defendants in the rape and trafficking of a woman who was at the time 26 years old. According to the alleged victim, she was repeatedly raped in front of her 8-year-old child. This was in the mid-2000s. In addition, the woman who's referred to only as Jane Doe alleges that Epstein and Maxwell trafficked her to numerous other men, including a local judge. And here's how this all came to pass, according to the legal filing. Doe was a real estate broker in Florida when she met both Epstein and Maxwell around late 2006 to early 2007. Doe alleges that Epstein knew her employer very well, and so she met both of them at a barbecue hosted by her employer. Her employer then introduced them and told her that Epstein was interested in either renting or purchasing real estate. So Doe worked with him and found Epstein a monthly rental, $10,000 a month rental, for which he paid cash. She was instructed not to identify him as the tenant, and she was not allowed to process Epstein's identification. Epstein then told her that he wanted to hire her, and he plied her with expensive gifts, and he promised to find her, quote, highly placed employment, not just for her, but also for her then husband. So she was married when all of this took place. For some reason, Ghislaine Maxwell took her passport for, quote, safekeeping, and Epstein kept it locked in a safe in his Florida estate. I'm assuming that was done to keep her from leaving because she was originally from Turkey. Approximately 6 months after meeting them, Maxwell persuaded her to work for Epstein. They told her that they were going to bring her in to cut his hair because she was also a trained hairstylist. So in January of 2008, she went to Epstein's residence to do what she thought was to cut his hair. She alleges, however, that when she arrived, Epstein was naked and that along with Maxwell's assistance, she was brutally raped. And then they gave her $200. She also claims that Epstein had guns and he had showed them to her, obviously, in an effort to intimidate her and elicit fear. And she says that after they raped her, she threatened to call the police. Maxwell said, I already called the police. Subsequently, 2 men arrived and they claimed to be police officers. But instead of arresting Epstein and Maxwell for rape, they threatened to arrest her for prostitution, and then they threatened that her son would be taken away and she would be deported back to her home country. They left. Epstein and Maxwell then ordered her to drive with them somewhere, and they instructed her to pick up her son along the way. So keep in mind, they just raped her, violently raped her. They forced her to get in the car. They go and pick up her son. While they're driving, they instruct her to pull off to the side of the road, and they stopped at what she described as a waterway filled with alligators. And the complaint states, quote, Epstein then ushered the plaintiff to the body of water and told her in explicit detail that, as had happened to other women in the past, according to the pair, she would end up in this body of water and be devoured should she ever reveal what Epstein had done to her. So following this threat, she then alleges that she was taken to a hotel in Naples, Florida, and over the course of several days, she was repeatedly raped by Epstein and Maxwell in the presence of her 8-year-old child. And for 5 months following these horrific events, she says that both Epstein and Maxwell used their relationships and influence with the FBI and the Immigration Department and Florida law enforcement to intimidate her. They used these threats as well as the promise of an FBI job for her husband to get her to have sex with other men. And she says she was terrified. She thought that she was going to be deported. She's Muslim, and she felt that saying anything would bring shame upon her family. So she describes two of the men that she was forced to have sex with. One she described as a heavy-set man named Walter. The other, she says, was an older man who identified himself as a local judge. She also says that Maxwell and Epstein took numerous photos and video recordings of her while she was naked and while she was performing lewd acts. She also claims that because she appeared to be much younger than 26, Epstein and Maxwell directed her to tell these men that she was only 17. So even though she was of legal age, number one, she was being forced to do this. She was being threatened to do this. And then these men she was having sex with thought that they were having sex with an underage girl. And Doe then alleges that Epstein forced her to undergo a vaginal reconstructive surgery so he could market her to one of their high-profile associates as a virgin. That surgery apparently took place in the home of someone that she described as a wealthy person with a Russian accent. And she said that she was left permanently mutilated and damaged as a result. She was also ordered to keep a lockbox that belonged to Epstein, and she was told that if she ever opened it, she would be killed. In addition, Epstein allegedly gave her burner phones and various other electronic devices that he wanted to hide from law enforcement. However, she says that in May of 2008, Maxwell retrieved all of these items from her, which completely flies in the face of what Maxwell has said under oath. So this could be additional perjury charges for Maxwell, because under oath, she claims that she didn't have any contact with Epstein in 2008. And remember, this was while, if this is true, this was while Epstein was under investigation already for child trafficking. This is while Ken Starr and Alan Dershowitz were arguing that Epstein should just get a pass, that this wasn't a federal offense, him having sex with underage girls. And while they made that obscene deal with Alex Acosta, where, oh, what do you know? All of Alex Acosta's emails during this time disappeared. If true, this was shortly before Epstein was given that tap on the wrist and that ridiculous 13-month work release program. It proves he had no fear. He feared no one and no authority. He knew he could do whatever the hell he wanted, and he wasn't going to be prosecuted, that he was going to be protected. And Maxwell, if this is true, she and her family can boo effing who all they want about her frozen food and her hair falling out. If this shit is true, she needs to be buried under the prison. And what the hell is wrong with her husband? Why, with these types of allegations and all the other ones made against her, why would you allow this alleged monster around your children? This guy needs to grow a pair of ovaries and move on. Even if it hasn't been proven yet, why would you even risk it? Why would you take the chance and have someone around your children that has been accused of such heinous and vile behavior until it was proven or disproven in a court of law? She gets absolutely no sympathy from me. Too effing bad. You know, unlike with so many of these other cases or alleged accusations against Epstein and Maxwell, this woman would have quite a few documents and quite a bit of evidence, and even, unfortunately, a witness, because if she was raped in front of her child, I would think that that would be something that he might remember, even if he didn't understand it at the time. But also this supposed surgery that she had. I mean, there would be actual physical evidence of that. All right, guys, as always, please like, share, and subscribe so others can find these videos. And thank you so much for watching and listening. I will keep you posted. I will let you know if I hear anything more on this. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.